Today on Investigate TV Plus, the battle over banned books, from the calls to pull problematic pages to the push against censorship. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. We dig into the debate and hear the passionate arguments from both sides.
At the end of the day, we're protecting kids and their innocence.
Other people agree that all books are for everyone.
Plus, handguns outfitted to fire like automatic weapons.
It can fire up to 1,200 rounds a minute.
In the hands of the wrong people, they're very dangerous.
The illegal modification that could put your life in danger in a public place.
And generosity stemming from grief.
I wanted to try to bring something positive to the family.
See how a best friend helped resurrect memories of a lost loved one.
How many people in this world meet friends like that have that kind of love for somebody that would do something that's great, you know?
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Across the country, efforts to ban books at schools and public libraries have skyrocketed.
According to a report from the American Library Association, 2022 saw the most ever book challenges it's recorded, and in many cases, hundreds of books were challenged in a single complaint.
Reporter Kristen Crowley goes in depth on the issue and the controversial question: is it censorship or protection?
It's a hotly debated issue.
There is a real issue here with materials in our libraries.
It may not be the book for you, but calling it pornography is a stretch.
As book challenges and bans sweep the nation.
You see typically the same titles year after year.
Cindy Hull is president-elect of the American Library Association.
No one individual should be able to say, I disagree with the content in this book, therefore no one else should be able to read it.
According to the ALA, there were more than 1,200 challenges to books and resources in 2022, nearly double the number reported a year earlier. That includes more than 2,500 unique titles, most of which were written by or about members of the LGBTQIA+ community and people of color.
There are so many stories to be read and voices to be heard on the shelves of a library.
While many of those challenges targeted books and materials in public libraries, most involved content in schools. A recent report by PEN America, a nonprofit that promotes freedom of expression, found that districts across the country banned nearly 1,500 books during the second half of 2022. Of those, nearly a third were connected to new legislation passed in 3 states, including Missouri, where Hull also serves as a director at the Kansas City Public Library.
This really came out of nowhere.
In August 2022, a Missouri law took effect that includes a provision making it a Class A misdemeanor for school officials to provide explicit sexual material to students.
To hear that an information professional could be jailed and fined for providing access to the library is completely mind-boggling to me.
Critics say the measure leaves too much room for interpretation. And according to PEN America, public school districts across the state banned hundreds of books out of fear of criminal punishment. Senator Rick Bratton authored the provision and says there is no ambiguity.
This is not, some Nazi book ban. At the end of the day, we're protecting kids and their innocence.
But just across the state line, a very different story. In June 2023, Illinois became the first state to pass a law prohibiting libraries from banning books.
Book bans are about censorship, marginalizing people, marginalizing ideas and facts.
PEN America's report found that of all the bans across the country, hundreds were connected to advocacy groups, chief among them, Moms for Liberty, a controversial conservative parental rights group recently labeled extremist by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Tia Best, the group's director of national engagement, says concerned citizens have a right to challenge books in an effort to shield kids from explicit content.
We're not a hate group. We're not banning books. The concept is age appropriate. I just want to make sure what's happening is not violating the law.
What about the people who say it's not violating the law? That it's the reverse. It's violating the law by keeping these from the hands of people who want to see them.
Well, that's why you have people who go to jail for pornography. Pornography violates the law. You can't give it to minors.
In Arkansas, it's a polarizing topic.
Children have the freedom to read. First of all, don't buy books like this.
Craighead County Library Director Vanessa Adams says the system has tried to find room for compromise.
I understood that some of the books were a bit shocking to a conservative community.
No works have been banned, but she says some have been taken out of the children's area.
We have moved a few books to the parent-teacher section because they were mainly geared towards parents anyway.
Back in Missouri, the debate continues.
How is pornography in the Lee Summit libraries protecting our youth?
I've seen a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of misinformation.
Here in Lee's Summit, the school district says nearly 100 books were challenged in the 2022-2023 school year. Between the people involved and the time spent, the review process cost roughly $24,000. And the results? All of the challenged books were retained.
It's about representation.
Heather Fleming is a mom and former English teacher outside St. Louis. Through her nonprofit, In Purpose in Education, and with some help from donations, she's spearheading a nationwide effort to distribute banned books.
We select one elementary school book, one middle school book, and one high school/adult book. And people can go through and request it, and we send it out to them free of charge.
Fleming partnered with I See Me bookstore in 2020, and they helped get the selections ordered and shipped. She says thousands have been given out around the country.
It's just definitely been such a phenomenal response to see that other people agree that all books are for everyone.
Working to fight back against book ban efforts.
We are making a choice as a community to have sexual materials in the children's area.
I choose for me, you choose for you. What a novel idea.
As the deep divide persists.
Here's a look at the American Library Association's list of the top 13 most challenged books of 2022. Some titles include All Boys Aren't Blue, Looking for Alaska, and Perks of Being a Wallflower. Reasons they were challenged include sexually explicit material, LGBT content, drug use, and profanity.
Still to come, there could be money with your name on it, and you don't even know it.
She also checked to see if my husband and I had any unclaimed money, and both of us did.
Learn how an online search could uncover an unexpected payday, and for some, it's just a few clicks away.
But first, a small part can modify a handgun to empty a magazine with a single trigger pull.
30 of these in a crowded mall is extremely dangerous.
We investigate how they end up in criminals' hands and the efforts to crack down on the deadly device.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download. Heartache in Memphis.
It's always been an accident, like something said, boom. I didn't know it was gunshots.
In 2022, Italy Oakley lost her life at 4 years old.
Her father had her in her arms. He was telling her, Italy, please don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep.
Investigators say the weapon used in this shooting was modified with a tiny device that can turn a pistol into a fully automatic firearm.
It can fire up to 1,200 rounds a minute.
It's called an auto-sear or Glock switch, and oftentimes all it takes to make it is plastic and a 3D printer.
There's a SIM card that just plugs into it. It starts from the bottom and it builds it up, so it's adding.
In the hands of the wrong people, they're very dangerous.
The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms says the power behind it is hard to harness, and the device is unregulated and prone to malfunction.
When you have somebody who's in a dispute or a confrontation, is not thinking about the consequences, and now they're armed with an automatic weapon, that's a serious concern.
In 2021, the ATF seized 1,500 weapons modified with Glock switches. That's 5 times the number seized the year before.
Reporter Nicole Kreitz investigates from Phoenix, Arizona, and explains what's being done to track down the illegal modifiers.
911, where's your emergency?
I think it's a shooting, but I'm not sure.
Okay, take a deep breath. Are you in a safe place?
We're in the back room. Panic and chaos as 30 shots ring out in the parking lot on a packed back-to-school shopping day at the Chandler Mall.
They thought they were going to get injured or killed. It was emotional.
This time, no one was hurt.
30 of these in a crowded mall is extremely dangerous.
Chandler Sergeant Jason McClyman says 19-year-old Nathaniel Venzer confronted a guy who made a comment to his girlfriend. Pulling a gun on him in the parking lot, he tried to steal his jewelry, then opened fire. They arrested him when he showed back up at the mall the very next day.
I don't even have a gun. You don't? I don't own a gun.
But detectives seized 3 from his home and say this one was a match to the casings from the mall.
They took apart the upper and lower receiver, and at that point they found a gray polymer device that was inserted into the trigger mechanism.
Drop-in auto sears and switches can turn any handgun into a machine gun, emptying a magazine with a single trigger pull in seconds. Maricopa County Detective Matt Shea with the HIDTA Task Force tracks drug dealers advertising on social media.
Homie traded me an AR pistol.
They want to protect themselves and their product, and sometimes that ends up in violence.
He showed us countless clips of switches for sale here on Snapchat and seized in drug search warrants.
By affixing this piece onto the back of the Glock, lets it go full auto.
You can get 10 years in federal prison just getting caught with one of these.
Nice strong grip on it, or maybe start low because they go high. So out of that, how many rounds did you actually get on target? 1 kind of by the head, and the other 5 went where?
Who knows?
The guys we recovered off, they're not really concerning themselves with what's downrange. Dion, it's Houston Police. Let's do this, Dion.
A man with a drug arrest warrant used a Glock switch, firing 30 rounds in 2.5 seconds, killing a Houston police officer and wounding this sergeant.
And how often are you recovering these?
These Glock switches are recovered in the Metro Phoenix area at least weekly.
Brendan Iber is the special agent in charge of the ATF's Phoenix Field Division.
We have to pour all of our resources into stopping this.
He assigned 2 agents to a task force with a Maricopa County attorney and Phoenix police that recovered a slew of illegal switches and sears in a roundup of more than 700 guns off criminals on probation. They even found ghost guns.
It's insane what's going on out there. It's happening day in and day out.
Using a AR-15 pistol that was fully equipped to be used in a war zone.
It's mind-boggling.
We don't want it next time.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office said Nathaniel Venzer pled guilty to charges related to the shooting at Chandler Mall.
And in October of 2023, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Coming up, a family finds comfort during a time of grief thanks to the kind heart of an old friend.
When I died, and there was like, whoa, who does that?
But first, states are holding on to unclaimed millions.
Cash money with nowhere to go.
We'll show you how to check if you have property you didn't even know was owed to you, plus how you might be able to cash in. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to InvestigateTV Plus on all social media platforms. We can all agree money doesn't grow on trees or fall from the sky, but your state might be holding on to unclaimed property with your name on it.
Yeah, according to the National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators, during the 2022 fiscal year, states returned over $4 billion in unclaimed property.
While there's no single government database for it all, there is a free way to search in every state.
Here's an in-depth look.
I got a phone call one day.
I'm thinking, where in my past life did something like that occur?
These 2 Virginia residents have never met and live in different parts of the Commonwealth, but each got unexpected calls from the state's Treasury Department.
She said, I have been searching for you for weeks, trying to find you.
So I was convinced that probably wasn't real.
The calls were legitimate and they both paid off. Grosvenor Merle Smith discovered unclaimed money from an insurance policy he had in the 1980s, while Ashley Neville learned there was unclaimed money from her late mother's estate.
She also checked to see if my husband and I had any unclaimed money, and both of us did.
And they're not alone. According to the National Association of State Treasurers, 1 in 7 people in the U.S. have some form of unclaimed property waiting to be collected, whether it's an inactive checking account, utility refund, or security deposit.
Cash money with nowhere to go.
Each year, states recover unclaimed cash and assets from businesses, banks, landlords, and more after they cannot find the owner.
Either they change an address, they move, unfortunately they may pass away. For whatever reason, it's different time frames, but it ultimately gets turned over to us.
The most common type? Intangible unclaimed property, such as uncashed paychecks and stocks.
We never know, what we're going to open and what we're going to find once we go in those boxes.
But Chad Wright with the Alabama State Treasurer's Office explained safe deposit boxes can be turned over as well. These can include jewelry and coins, among other items.
A lot of times we'll have things that are, they may have handwritten notes where things have been passed down from generation to generation to generation.
What happens to that property after it's turned over to the state depends on where you live. Some states have programs that automatically look to return it, but you don't have to wait for a phone call to figure out if you have any unclaimed property. You can be your own investigator. Every state has a way to search. The National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators runs unclaimed.org. There's a map so you can check the states you've lived in. You'll be redirected to each state's website where you can find a step-by-step guide on how to make an official claim for your property.
It is a free public service.
Diana Shaban with the Virginia Department of Treasury recommends you check the system at least once a year.
Check your names, check your loved ones' names, your deceased loved ones' names. Anybody can have unclaimed property.
The association says in most cases it takes only a few minutes to find out, and those who have reclaimed funds say it's worth a search.
What have you got to lose? So why not? And it was much easier than I thought it would be to find the information that the state requires.
The association also endorses missingmoney.com, and it's not just for individuals. Businesses, nonprofits, and churches can also have unclaimed property being held by the state.
And if you do go searching for unclaimed property, beware of scammers. Officials in Louisiana have warned of fake social media ads that appear to be from the state's unclaimed property program. Their reminder, you will not be charged to submit a claim.
Next, a father lost his life to COVID, and his best friend tries to keep his spirit alive.
I hope that the car brings back positive memories of that time where it was carefree and he had so much life.
See how an act of kindness helps a family to heal.
I'm Viv Williams with a medical mythbuster moment. The myth: kids diagnosed with ADHD will grow out of it.
Many children don't grow out of their ADHD, as we used to think, and continue to have symptoms and qualify for the diagnosis as adults.
Dr. Lydia Zalowska says nearly 10% of school-age kids have ADHD. An American Journal of Psychiatry article found that an estimated 90% of kids diagnosed with ADHD will have symptoms as adults. Zalowska says adult ADHD symptoms may come and go and often show up as stress. With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. Though nothing can make up for the loss of a loved one, a generous gift brought comfort to a grieving family in St. Louis, Missouri.
Reporter Steve Harris shows us how a best man helped a family remember his best friend.
He was just a wonderful son.
Brent Riggins loved his family.
He was so involved with the family.
And he loved his friends.
There's probably half a dozen people that consider Brent to be their best friend.
In January of 2022, at 41 years old, COVID took him from all of them.
Yeah, it's been a great loss, for sure.
Brant Stack was Brent's best man at his wedding and his best friend in high school.
Whenever I thought about those times, always in the background was his Camaro.
You see, when he was 18, Brent loved his 1995 Camaro.
He took an immense amount of pride in that car. I was thinking about him and thinking about the car, and I thought, I wonder what happened to it.
So Brandt hired an investigator, did a little research, and in a warehouse in Jeff City, he found it, and he bought it. He replaced the engine, fixed everything up, and then met Brent's family for dinner.
Brandt called us one day and said, hey, I found something of Brent's, and I'd like to share it with you guys.
I didn't know exactly what the reaction was going to be.
He had it outside, and would I like to see it? It's like, what? It's like, holy cow. So went outside, and there was our son's car. Pretty cool.
I wanted to try to bring something positive to the family,
Then he turned around and gives me the keys and says, it's yours to do with what you want. It's like, whoa, who does that?
Now Brent's old car sits in his dad's driveway, back in the family, exactly like it was, with a few upgrades.
I hope that the car brings back positive memories of that time where it was carefree and, he had so much life.
It's really like what a gift that that he has given us.
How many people in this world meet friends like that to have that kind of love for somebody that would do something that's great, There's just not enough really good stories like that.
Wow, what a story. And could you imagine his kids driving that car as well?
Having like a piece of their father driving it around. I mean, the car, they did a great job with it.
Beautiful job.
Brings some, brings tears, but also great joy to the family
Happy
as well.
memories,
Yeah,
too.
no doubt about that. All right, that's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, the cost of attracting star athletes.
It makes me feel a little bit dirty almost when I look at what we're spending.
It's a billion-dollar recruiting battle some say has taken college sports into new territory.
It was like insane compared to my visit.